Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Starseeds and Lightworkers Collective. My name is Crystal, and welcome tonight to our Halloween special. Tonight is going to be a double header. We will be looking at the music of Kevin Estrella, and we will also be looking at the growing up in a haunted house with Angela Levasseur. So Angela is also the one that did the interview with Kevin. So it's going to be a great segue. We can just sort of just both transition into both of them. But for now, we are going to be speaking with Kevin and Angela. So Angela and Kevin were at the show Gate Night. And Gate Night was a show that took place on Thursday, October 30th. So yesterday, Thursday, October 30th at the Imperial Pub in downtown Toronto. I think it was at 54 Dundas. And he played a show in his own way, a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. He played with his band, Pyramids on Mars. And Pyramids on Mars is also the name of his podcast, which you should definitely check out. He has a lot of great guests and great content there, so you should check it out. And Angela Levasseur was also there. So both Kevin and Angela have presented on this show before. And what makes this presentation very special is the fact that the music of Kevin Estrella is very much influenced by the Ponti. The Ponti are an extraterrestrial race that Kevin has been in touch with since he's been about older teenager. And it has influenced his music and has influenced his life. So a lot of the music that he has produced has been influenced by that, and it has led him to a very, very interesting and varied creative expression for his music. So we are going to be looking at that, and then later on we're going to be speaking again with Angela to talk about her experiences of growing up in haunted houses. She is Canadian, but has lived in the States and in Canada. And so she had experiences growing up in Detroit, and she also had experiences growing up in Ontario as well. So we're going to be looking into that. And if you have any experiences growing up in a haunted house, please let us know, put it in the chat below, and we can explore that. So without any further ado, I'd like to present to you Angela Levasseur and her interview with Kevin Estrella. Hi, Angela. How are you doing?
Good evening. I am doing fantastic, which is amazing given the fact that it it took us until about 2:30 in the morning to get back from the concert, and then we had to unload everything. So I really have not had a whole lot of sleep. Okay. Hence the reason I am actually doing this interview rather than Kevin, because he had to work all day.
Yeah, that's great.
So it was an old concert, though. It really was.
Wow, that's amazing. So was there a good turnout? How many people do you think showed up? And I guess that people were still sad about Ozzy Osbourne, eh? It must have been really sad for everybody.
Yes, definitely. We actually had one of the band members for the last band that came out. It was the headlining band called Dahmer's Fridge. And he was dressed up, the lead singer was dressed up as Ozzy Osbourne. And one thing I will mention, and we could post it in the comments later on, sure. The whole concert was actually live streamed by, I might get the name wrong, I believe it's Arcadia Gothic Media Group. So I won't be able to provide that, but they live streamed everything last night. So the entire concert is available through the link, and I have sent that so we can make sure that our viewers can look at it. But I do have some footage from the concert, specifically from Pyramids on Mars. Okay. And I've got several great shots, as well as I believe it's about a 10-minute interview with Kevin and his bassist John.
So guys, one of the things that's interesting about this time of year with Halloween's a fun time of year. You know, I know that Hollywood has a tendency to make it very negative and scary and all that kind of stuff. And, it's fun to be scared. Sometimes it's nice to go out with friends and go to a movie and see the creepy movies, especially those movies from the 1950s and 60s. Those are always fun. But Halloween should not be seen as a negative thing. It should definitely just be seen as any other time of the year, but a year, especially this time when the veil is very thin. The veil is thin, and this is not so much a time when you should feel attacked or unsafe, but rather a time when you can communicate with other beings, you can communicate with the ancestors, you can communicate with those who have passed on. So that's basically what this time of year should really represent, in my humble opinion. But and so it's around this time, usually around midnight, that sort of thing. It seems that is when the veil is thinnest. But if you see things, if you experience things, just take it in stride, right? But if at this point in time you do feel that you feel unsafe and you want to and you don't feel like you're in the best situation, you can always call upon your spirit guides. You can always call upon the archangels to protect you. You can surround yourself with white light, and you'll always be protected. So you never have to look upon this as anything that's negative. And you can continue to have a fun time of year. What do you think, Angela?
And in answer to your question,
Yeah.
the hour between midnight and 4 a.m.
Okay.
are the time that generally your mind is more in the theta state. And that is one of the reasons we are more receptive. And actually, if you look back historically as well, we have been programmed by society to wake up for a 9-to-5 job. If you go by what the actual circadian rhythms are, we were not meant to be awake at this time of the day. We were meant to sleep, and we were actually meant to be awake during certain other times of the day.
Okay. That makes sense. And that's also the reason why I think that humanity is also a bit screwed up as well, because we're not following the proper circadian rhythms. Yeah.
Yes, that's trying to bring us back into that circadian rhythm.
Exactly. So I'm just going to play the video that Angela wanted to play with for us for the interview. And it is an interview that took place last night, and it's between Angela and Kevin, and it was the organizer, the other one.
No, it's actually John Hudson. He is the bassist for Pyramids on Mars when they play live shows. It's just Kevin and John, and it's all instrumental, just so that you know.
Okay, perfect. All right. So
when they play.
Without further ado, here's the interview.
Good evening. Hi, I am Angela, and I am here with Kevin Estrella and John Hudson, both the people on Pyramids on Mars.
Pyramids on Mars.
Yeah, they rock, and you'll get to hear them in a little while. So I have a few questions for the two of you, and it is totally my pleasure to be here. This is the first time we've done a live interview for Quantum Portals, so I hope everyone enjoys it. It'll be quick because we are starting to get busy. So, John, please, how long have you been with Pyramids on Mars?
So apparently 3 years. It must be coming up 3 years. Was it beginning of the year? It's been 3 years. Yeah, it's been 3 years. Wow. Wow, long time.
Wow. And John, what did you do for Pyramids on Mars?
So I play the bass, guitar. I mean, Kevin's basically written all the music and recorded, and there are 5 albums, I think? 4 albums. 4 albums to choose from. And so for me, it was a huge challenge, a very different sort of music for him to play. But the real challenge was in finding a bass line that would fit within the music that was there, but not necessarily be the same as the bass line that was recorded. So it took quite a while and a lot of rehearsals for us to be able to get the music together. And hopefully you'll get to hear us later on, and you'll agree or otherwise that we managed to achieve it.
Well, I can speak from experience. I've heard you in person several times, and you are fantastic. I'm sure our viewers will think the same. So, Kevin, why don't you tell us what some of your biggest influences for your music happen to be?
Well, it started with back in grade 10 when my best friend introduced me to Joe Satriani, who's an instrumental guitar player, and I knew immediately what kind of style of music that I was truly in love with. So that spent many years of woodshedding and practicing on my lunches in high school, and then we played coffee houses and stuff like that, playing instrumental music. But it wouldn't be until 2011 when I would create Pyramids on Mars, and the whole idea was to marriage my knowledge of extraterrestrials and the extraterrestrial presence on Earth with my music, using my music as a catalyst for it. And so then a lot of my influences come actually, I do have guitar player influences, but I'm mostly influenced by Baroque classical music, like J.S. Bach and Antonio Vivaldi. Those are where I get a lot of my inspiration from. I'm not trying to be facetious or anything like that, but that's just kind of what I was gravitated to make my guitar sound a little bit more like a violin, cello, harpsichord, those kind of melodies from there. Actually, a lot of the influence comes from Vivaldi because of his melodic structures, of how things are grouped with notes and stuff like that, and they're very, very rich. But I also spent many years studying melody. So I got books on how to write good melodies and studied how the Beatles wrote good melodies. And so that became a great focus of how do you write a good melody, a good story that somebody can listen immediately and they can sing it while they're driving down the street. So that was the whole idea, was about creating, it's about total language basically.
Interesting. Now, one thing I will mention to our viewers, if they are not familiar with Pyramids on Mars music at all, there are no words. It is purely instrumental. Kevin, can you tell us why that is so?
I don't know.
That's just how it happens to come out.
No, it's because as I said, I was originally influenced by Joe Satriani, who was instrumental, and he was instrumental rock, but it was his style of writing that I really gravitated towards, because his guitar melodies were they were melodic, they told a story, and they had choruses, and it was catchy, very catchy melodies. Something that sticks with you. So that's what I really was gravitated towards. There are a lot of great guitar players who are instrumental, but there are very, very few who create melodies that any person can grab onto and listen to and immediately can hum all the way home.
Very true.
There's so many guitar players who play a lot of notes, but there's no way that you can sing what it is that they're doing. So I come from the school of, if you can sing it, then it's going to be remembered. It's just like a classical song, where so many people can hum the melody of their favorite classical music. Why? Because it has it's condensed notes. It tells a little story. It's a bit of an art scene.
I would think there is.
Whereas my background is way more traditional, all the way back to the UK, so starting from the new wave of British heavy metal through bands like Black Sabbath and Raven, all the way through into new wave and punk, and all the traditional classic rock. So for me, this style of music was a big challenge, and that was the appeal. And I've really enjoyed it. Sometimes it's pretty frustrating when you get really weird time signatures, but it's been a real challenge, and I've enjoyed it. It's really good.
What is one of your favorite Pyramids on Mars songs to play?
Well, I think they're all ones we're going to do tonight. Right up there. I think what epitomises the sound and the whole ethos of the band is a relatively recent song for us, which is called Rexagina. We're going to hear that tonight. And I think that really does sum up what Pyramids on Mars is. It's a really good track.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I can't wait to hear Rexagina. So Kevin, just out of curiosity, where do your ideas for your songs originate from? Is there some background to that and to the name Pyramids on Mars?
Well, the songs themselves will usually end up writing themselves, actually, where I'll get a good sound and through my amp and the guitar, and then a riff will happen, and then I know something is happening, and I'll just record on my phone. And usually, the majority of my songs for the last 2.5 albums, were written actually in one take.
Wow, that's almost unheard of.
So seriously, where I would write the whole song would come to me in one take, and I would not edit it. I would go back and I would learn the song as it was, the structure was all there, and the song would actually be in about 4 minutes and 30 seconds long, just the right time that I wanted, but it's all for the story, it's a sentence story. There wasn't anything more that really needed to add to it. So,
And what about has a name, Pyramids on Mars. Any background you can give us for that?
Yes, actually. The name Pyramids of Mars actually came from one of my favorite drummers is by the name of Virgil Venati. You don't know? No. Oh, okay. He auditioned for Dream Theater at one point in Portugal. But he's Australian, and he had a solo album called Serious Young Insects. He was also in the band Planet X with Derek Sherman and Tony McAlpin. So, he had a song on his album called Pyramids on Mars, and I was already in a band at that time. I was with a band called Shatteristic, and I kept that song and that name to the side in case I ever had a solo project. So I hung on to that name probably for about 8 years, and then when the time came, then I took that name Pyramids of Mars to call it.
And 2 more levels.
Yeah, and I do have the patent. It is a trademark name. I went through a lot of legal hassle with some
So you've all heard that. You cannot use that name for anything. It's already taken.
Yeah. At least in Canada.
Two wonderful gentlemen. I know that very shortly we're going to have bands starting to test out their equipment up here, so we'll get to our last couple of questions. Where can we find the music for Pyramids on Mars?
Well, you can find it on pyramidsonmars.com. That's my website. My YouTube channel, Pyramids on Mars. You can find our music pretty much on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Deezer, Amazon, you name it. You can find Pyramids on Mars pretty much on any platform.
Great. And I know you also have CDs.
Yeah, we have CDs tonight. So, if you buy a CD, it will get autographed by me because I mail them out. So,
Excellent.
there you go. Yeah.
I have his album, so what's that was a really nice Christmas present.
Oh yeah, the big box that you got there for Christmas. Yeah.
John, is there anything else you'd like our viewers to know?
It's a shame you can't come out with us tonight because it's going to be a cracking evening here a day before we go to Halloween. They said the band, I can just see them over the shoulder there, is just setting up 3 bands tonight.
3 or 4. I think we have 4 on our roster that I showed. And tonight is Ozzy Osbourne. So it should be really kicking. And this is also historic because this is the last night of the Imperial Inn. They're going to be closed after tonight, so it's a closeout show. Kevin, anything else you'd like our viewers to know before we close out for the night? And get to rock.
Yeah, just go to our website and follow us and enjoy the music. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Thank you.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you very much.
And I know you also have.
Oh, there we go. Wow. So that was a very interesting interview. And you're right, it was a little difficult to hear because there was a lot of background noise. But it seems that we are still able to get a little bit of background as to what was going on. And it was very interesting, especially the gentleman who is the British.
The bassist?
Yeah, the bassist.
Yes.
He has sort of...
He does. He is actually directly from the UK and has gone back there several times and has brought guitars back from there as well.
Okay, cool.
So, beautiful gentleman, he and his wife. It was actually his wife who was doing the recording.
Oh, really? Okay, that's
Yes,
nice.
yes.
That's really nice. Okay,
Thankfully,
that's
she was
great.
there.
Yeah, that's actually great. And so I think so just sort of just summarize because it was kind of hard to hear. About Kevin. So I think what I understood is that he started this in grade 10. I think he...
Yes. It was a number of years ago that he has been playing guitar for many, many years. And as he mentioned, he is literally, in fact, he mentioned it during the show, he is a world-renowned guitarist. You mentioned that at the very beginning. He is up there with the likes of Joe Satriani. He also is a neck illusionist endorser. So, I just sent you a clip, not the clip. I sent you the concert itself, so it should be in your email now. It was about half an hour-ish.
Okay.
So at some point we can probably play a couple of clips. But he has been teaching guitar. He's very influenced by classical guitarists. I believe he mentioned Vivaldi, if I'm not mistaken. And that is where he gets the majority of his inspiration from. But that, in addition to many times what he gets are actually downloads of the song, and a few of them have come in one take. Okay. It's something that tonal language is very important. He works with the Ponti, and as he mentioned, and that's one of the reasons I posed that specific question to him, is it's a melody that is meant to stay with you so that you very much will remember the song, because it's just like a chorus line. We all remember choruses to or verses to songs that we like. It's the same thing, only his is instrumental.
Okay, that's very interesting. And just to sort of loop back to what is his bassist name again? What is his name?
His bassist's name is John Hudson.
Hudson. And do you know where he's from and what his background is musically?
He has been playing guitar for many, many years as well. In fact, we were having a very nonchalant conversation after the interview, and he was talking about some of his very first guitars and amps, etc., as was Kevin. And I mean, really, these gentlemen know their instruments, they know their amps, they know their sound systems. This is what they've done, and all of them have been involved in music for many, many years. I mean, there's such a dedication there that it's just absolutely unbelievable. If you do happen to ever Google Kevin, you can find his tutorial videos online still.
Oh, really?
From many years ago. Yeah, he actually tutored in guitar and taught people guitar.
Okay, that's very interesting. And so he has been doing this for quite a while now. And I know that I'm just going to try and find the clips here so that we can play some of the music. So just sort of bear with me. But if I understand correctly, Kevin has been Kevin has been playing, like we said, since grade 10, and he has also been teaching. And did he at any time explain, for example, sorry, I'm just gonna, because I got the link, so I'm gonna just sort of set that up.
Good.
So did he ever at any time explain how, because he says that he was talking about how extraterrestrials affected his music, but I guess he was pretty young when that happened, or when did he sort of make the transition between the two, you know?
Well, I do know that he actually had terrestrial influence, and I'm probably going to get the date wrong, so he's going to kill me if I do. I do know that it was several years ago. I believe it was 2014 or 2015 where he actually had experience with a craft. And I should know this because I've heard the story many, many times, but my brain is in a different mode right now. And he has had tonal language specifically, and he's got something that it's a little write-up specifically from the Ponti that was given to him relevant to the type of music. He is also, and he didn't get into detail on this particular interview because we really didn't have a lot of time, but I know he has in past interviews mentioned that the Ponti have come in and physically retuned his guitar to 432 amps, hertz. He has also had his guitar retuned at one point to, I believe it was 528 hertz. And both of those are healing frequencies. So when you hear the music, it is something that is very, very specific. It is meant to stay with you. It has a healing chord to it. It's like the solfeggios, where it's meant to actually help people on Earth. And the more that you happen to hear his music, the more it will actually stay with you.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting. So he's basically been doing that for quite a while. And does he feel that maybe when he was starting as a young man, like obviously grade 10 and upward, that he may have had those experiences when he was growing up and then only recognized it later on? I'm not sure. It's kind of weird.
Honestly, he and I have never really talked about it in
Mm-hmm.
that regard, but just based on some of the information that he's shared with me, that would not surprise me at all. But that's a
Mm-hmm.
question for Kevin.
Yeah, okay.
It's a
That
very
that's
good question.
Yeah, it is. Because a lot of times when we get people on the channel talking about their experiences, it often happens, if not only from their childhood, but it also happens that their parents or their grandparents were also having these kinds of experiences, and
Yes,
that they it affects their art or it affects their music or whatever it is, and they try their best to sort of express what it is that's been happening to them in an artistic form in order to sort of have a catharsis and also to deal with it because sometimes it can be a bit intense, going through all that.
absolutely.
You know what I
I
mean?
do know, based on some conversations that we've had, that there have been Ponti and ETs that have been influential in Kevin's family history
Mm-hmm.
for approximately 250-ish years,
No.
that he has confirmed on more than a couple of occasions. And the other thing that I'll mention is I do know that there have been influences, both in his theta state. I mean, very often he'll drop into alpha and literally just happen to have a song come to him.
Very interesting to hear, and that different extraterrestrial races are using musicians and artists to sort of spread the message and all that.
100%,
You know.
because artists have a more open mind.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, this is a channel that I had received at one point, but one of the reasons that they use people who are artists or actors, it's people of the creative mindset,
Mm-hmm.
because they have a different view
Mm-hmm.
on the world and they are more accepted. And it is something that the extraterrestrials are much easier able to get their information through to
Mm-hmm.
and be able to um, influence the general populace. And the same thing with directors and producers. There are many individuals and hundreds of musicians that have been influenced. David Bowie, very big name musicians. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my goodness, I'm trying to think of his name. I can picture him. I can't think of his name offhand.
Yeah, but even someone like John Lennon who saw
Thank
UFOs, and
you. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Of course, now I can't. As I said, I can
mm-hmm.
picture the guy's name, and I can't think of what his
Yeah, but
name
a
is.
lot of different artists have been down that road, and what's interesting
Absolutely.
is that a lot of artists will, what we're finding out now. I was reading something somewhere recently about how there are a lot of artists that said, "Look, I've seen things. I've seen craft, not just like a little light in the sky and that's it. No, like I've actually seen craft. I've actually seen things. I've seen a whole bunch of stuff happening, and I never said anything because here in Hollywood, it's not really sort of well regarded, and so a lot of people haven't
Exactly.
said anything. So there's actually a lot more people who are of the creative ilk who definitely see these sorts of things and have had contact. I can't remember an artist, but I mean, I know there's some artists that I remember reading about how he said, yes, I've had contact and I've had, long-term contact with these different types of beings and that they speak to me. So it seems to be something that's continuing. And I can't imagine what people right now are experiencing or feeling with Three Eye Atlas. I think that should be kind of interesting because I know that a lot of people are being affected by Three Eye Atlas.
Yes,
And,
absolutely, they are.
just to let you know, guys, we're going to be having a special show on December 19th, Friday, December 19th. And we're going to be talking about Three Eye Atlas. We're going to be talking with Miss Susan Johnson, who is a contactee. And we're also going to be talking with Miss Maureen Morgan, who is a former UFO investigator who worked with MUFON. And we're going to be having a lot of different perspectives on the whole Three Eye Atlas thing. So it should be kind of interesting. So you definitely want to tune in there. But could we sort of maybe try to go to the to the link of the show. Would you be willing to? Are we ready to go watch the link?
I am ready to watch it whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Hopefully it will have no problems on your end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just gonna get that together here. So
now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the very first little bit of it is sort of a sound check as well.
Okay.
But they do segue into a couple of different songs. I can't remember how many songs they played. It was probably about, I don't know, 6 or 7. Most of Kevin's songs are approximately 4 minutes each.
So I think what we'll do now is we will play the link. It's about 30 minutes, and it is a taste of some of the music that Kevin Estrella and Mr. John Hudson, the 2 members of Pyramids on Mars, are playing. And it's really great. I really like his music a lot, and you can definitely hear the influences of Joe Satriani and some of the earlier 1980s type of metal band type of influences there. So without further ado, here is the music of Kevin Estrella, John Hudson, the members of Pyramids on Mars. Thank you.
Next one was written recently, and it was actually inspired by Angela back there with the blonde hair. The song is called Dragon's Blood.
Dragon's Blood. Okay, vote for Angela. Angela for Prime Minister.
Eden. It's called Heaven's Gate.
Oh. I hope I get to go there. I know I'm not.
It's got a ripping guitar solo. and they have ETs that look like us came to Earth, a rescue mission, and there was a coup. Their shields were brought down, and their ship was destroyed, and tens of thousands of people died. So the song is basically an honor to them.
Yeah. So I had to chime in.
Ozzy songs tonight. We are playing a song that I wrote that was inspired, and it was inspired by Ozzy, and was also it was a tribute to Randy Rhoads. And a song that's very close to my heart, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's called Tribute. Since we're doing tributes tonight, there's another song we're playing, which is another tribute to Freddie Mercury. This is one called Mercury Magnetar. And you wonder, what's that supposed to mean? Well, see, a magnetar is the most powerful magnetic star out there that has such a magnetic pull that it affects every other star within light miles and stuff like that. That was Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Woo!
Woo! Ready.
day to do that.
And one of the things I'm quite proud of, hopefully we'll get a chance to get to it. He talks about Rexagina. Rexagina is going towards the end, but he also talks about one called Dragon's Blood, which I was an inspiration for, and he does mention that right on stage. So when you see the camera kind of moving up and down, it's because I'm holding the camera in one hand and I'm literally waving in the other.
Okay, great.
So, but it's there. The songs are amazing. Many times they are coming in one take. And then Kevin, I mean, he does all of the guitar portion of it. And then he adds, and I don't think he mentioned that, he adds all of the other instruments into it. And it's all intuitive that it comes together for him and he just knows what it is. So he really is a very, very talented individual.
Absolutely.
And I know he's not going to be stopping anytime soon. In fact, I personally know that he is working on a couple of new pieces right now.
Okay, great. And you should really check out, and he talks about his own show. He does his own show called Pyramids on Mars.
He does.
And he also does something very similar to what we're doing here. It's more of an audio podcast. So, but you should really check it out, Pyramids on Mars. Just look it up, and you can see the link below here in the description. And check out some of the guests that he has. He has amazing guests on his show, and he's really, really very interesting. And he definitely has. I've heard his music before as well, and I find that his music is very interesting. And I think that what I find affects me is the fact that I think that, like you said, he tuned his guitar to what, 412 hertz? Is that what you said?
He didn't tune it. It was the Ponty that tuned it.
It
was actually the Ponty who came in, and Kevin has some amazing stories that I've heard. They will actually come in and play around with his pedals, play around with his wah stuff, and it's quite endearing and funny. I mean, the Ponty absolutely love him. And I will say this, because for those of us who are, those of the viewers who are not aware of it, the Ponty do visit him on a regular basis. I am able to actually pick up on the Ponty as well. And they were at the show last night. And Sue Walker, who Kevin has done many interviews with, directly channels the Ponty. She and Kevin were talking earlier today, and Sue was able to confirm that, yes, the Ponty were there last night, and asked, did we not see the ship? It was actually pouring rain when we arrived, so we were not outside, but it was quite endearing and quite funny, because I literally could see through my mind's eye. I mean, I have a different visual than some people do, but I could see that the Ponty were there, and they were just rocking out. They love music. They really, truly do. And this is one of the reasons that they communicate with us through music. Music and art are two of the biggest things. It doesn't matter what language you speak.
I had a lot of friends in high school who were into a lot of the heavy metal, and I was listening to Hendrix, and I was listening to Metallica back in the day. We had Metallica and a lot of the hard rock, and so like Van Halen and all that kind of stuff. The 70s and 80s were some great times for some rock and roll music. So I was kind of like, sort of tapping away. And I mean, ladies, Kevin looks good in those hot leather pants. No? Am I right? Meow.
Yes, he does.
Thank God
He
Kevin's not
absolutely-
here. He's going to be like, what the hell?
Oh, he knows it. He has. Now, this is something that some people don't know.
Yeah.
Kevin actually has a following of the Ponte females, and they're
Oh.
called Las Estrelitas. And the funny thing is, they do come to his shows, and I have literally seen them swooning over him.
Oh my God.
I'm not kidding. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
wow.
they fight over. They start getting ready for him early in the afternoon. This is what we're going to wear. This is what we're going to wear. And Kevin has told me on a couple of occasions that he also has a kilt that he wears, and they really like the kilt.
Okay, well, if they have X-ray eyes, hopefully they're not looking through that kilt. And you know what? Let's be honest. No one's ever answered that question for me about, men in kilts. I don't know. Like, I mean,
What they wear under the kilt.
what do they wear? Or if they don't wear anything under those kilts, you know what? Like, if you want to just sort of be free and easy and breezy, then go for it. You know what I mean? I just wanted to just say his bassist, Mr. Hudson there, very good bassist. And it's funny
amazing.
because I'm watching him. And because I grew, I grew up as a kid in the 70s, but I had enough wherewithal to know about the music, and definitely by the 80s and my teens, listening to a lot of the older stuff, and then everybody was into Led Zeppelin back in those days, even though it was the 80s at that point. But Led Zeppelin was a big draw back in the days, and we were all listening to a lot of the late 60s and Cream and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, stuff that was happening in the 70s, like the Deep Purple and Sabbath and all that. And I felt that I really could hear the influences, and his and Kevin's basses reminded me of one of those British bands from the 70s who, actually a lot of the best music was coming out of Britain back then as well. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Yeah, that was pretty good stuff. So, did you want to tell us a little bit more about the track that we did watch? That
You know what? I don't remember what that particular song was called.
Okay.
Because when he announces them at the beginning, sometimes we were able to hear it, sometimes we weren't, because it was quite loud in that particular venue. But the other thing I will mention is on the link that I sent, that I posted in the group, it has the whole show. So there was a band that was on prior to Pyramids on Mars, and then Pyramids on Mars was the second band. You can listen to the entire show there. Everything is live streamed.
Guys, check out his music on his website. When we are finished the show, I'm going to upload that link that Angela sent me. I just have to sort of upload it later, but definitely give his music a listen. And if you're someone like myself who is into some of the better quality of music, Gen X, but if you're into a lot of the better quality of music from the 70s and 80s, late 60s, 70s, and 80s, then definitely check out Pyramids on Mars. Really, really good music, and I really enjoyed it. So I really liked it a lot. And last but not least, Angela, is there a reason why the Ponte like his music? Like, what is it about his music that attracts them, apart from this hot leather pants? But like,
A big part of it is just the fact, as I said before, they have been following his family for approximately 250 years. I know that he is extremely open. Kevin has expressed in prior interviews that we have watched, that we've had on here, that he has had a very huge interest in extraterrestrials since quite a young age.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say, I want to say high school-ish. Don't quote me on that one, and he's going to kill me for that one for not knowing. But he studied everything that he possibly could about contact. They know he's open. They know that he is versatile. They know that he is able to influence. And of course, he is, what's the word? He's an extremely gifted individual. Not everyone has the wherewithal. They don't have the tenacity or the discipline that he has to continue and do this for year after year after year. And he thoroughly enjoys it. I mean, this is a passion. And that's the thing. They see the passion.
I see. And just to sort of, I know you'd mentioned before that there was a book that was written. I think you mentioned Graham Hancock, but I think it was actually
Yes.
Grant Cameron.
Oh,
Yeah,
perhaps.
I because he mentioned it on stage actually, and because I remember he talked about it
Okay.
when
Okay.
he came in a couple of months ago. I remember Kevin talked about it, and it's a book by Grant Cameron called "The Paranormal World of Music," and
Thank you. My apologies,
no
Kevin.
worries.
Oh my goodness. No, I just blew this whole interview.
No,
So
no, no, it's okay. No,
no
no, but
worries.
it's fine. We're going to, and I'll also post a link to that book as well because Grant Cameron has definitely done a long term expose and he's done a long term research on that whole concept of how musicians, artists in general, but musicians in particular, have been influenced and have been in contact with extraterrestrial beings. So definitely check out that book. It's on Amazon, but it's called The Paranormal World of Music, and it's by the writer Grant Cameron. So I think that that pretty much wraps it up for the interview. I think that again, I apologize for all the technical snafus that we had at the beginning, but we finally had a chance to get through that, and hopefully the angels and the fairies, even though it's Halloween, are still with us as we transition over now to our more Halloween esque topic for this evening. And
Oh,
moving
see, I'm going to
forward.
blame this on myself because I literally have had less than 5 hours sleep. No, seriously, I have. It's because it was just such a late evening, etc.
Hmm.
So my brain is getting a little bit foggy. This topic I could do. You're better
Okay.
off to talk to Kevin directly, and he'll
Okay.
certainly set me straight because I know I'm going to hear an earful of it after.
Okay. No worries. But like, I mean, look, we had a lot of technical stuff going on, so we're fine. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be transitioning over from rock music to haunted houses.